Hey Liv, thanks for being here for this little interview series of mine.
You're welcome.
Now, you and I worked together one-on-one for 3 months.
hmm
I would love to know what you experienced prior to signing up with me.
Oh gosh, how was I feeling? I guess the easiest way to explain it was that I was so lost. So I felt like I had a good job, I have a good family, good friends, good network, but everything else in my life just felt like as if I just wasn't my genuine self. So I felt
Nice.
just constantly trying to be this person that to please everyone else. I just felt like by the time I reached out to you, I was tired of feeling unhappy. And I guess I felt really guilty that I felt unhappy because I had a lot of things going for me. I was like, oh, I should be grateful for this, I should be grateful for that. But at the end of the day, I wasn't being true to myself. I guess I can use the analogy of like I constantly was trying to scrape to the surface, but everything was pulling me down. And yeah, by the time I reached out to you, I had been like thinking about getting a life coach. I'd like been in, like I've had a psychologist before, and I just never really got enough out of it. I guess they helped me deal with certain topics or situations and how to control a situation, but they never actually helped fix my inner self and like go to the core of who I am, understand who I am, and what actually truly makes me happy. Since working with you, you've definitely brought that back out in me, and I'm like, I now know exactly what I need to make me happy. Obviously you can tell on the smile on my face that I'm genuinely happy now.
So happy.
But yeah, I guess I was just at rock bottom by the time I reached out to you. I was desperate.
Do you feel like you were sort of living for everyone and everything else apart from you because you didn't know that you could say no or make decisions that were in your best interest because you just thought that making everyone else happy was probably one of the most important things to do?
Yeah, definitely. And I guess when I came to you, I probably didn't actually acknowledge that as being a key driver of who I was at that time. I guess I didn't subconsciously, maybe I or not maybe, I know all I did was seek approval from everyone else. I always tried to be a person that I thought they wanted me to be, with my family, and having to live up to the expectation of who they expected me to be, to look after them, to be their carer. I didn't feel vulnerable enough to like tell them how I was feeling. I would just cop everything that they put onto me and I guess allow them to overstep my boundaries because back then I had none. And then, in my relationship at the time, the same sort of thing. I was just constantly trying to be a person that I thought he wanted me to be, or his family wanted me to be, his friends wanted me to be. And I guess over time, trying to be someone else, you lose who you truly are. And then eventually you become the little shell of a human that I was when I came to you.
Totally. What I noticed with a lot of the people that I work with, and obviously it's been me as well, this is why it takes one to know one, as I said in another interview with a past client, Michelle, is when we've spent so long trying to be who we think other people want us to be, the perpetual cycle that goes on inside is just like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And it's like, because you can't be good at something that you are not. Right? And so then you're constantly like, I don't meet the target, I don't meet the bar. And that was the biggest thing. As soon as I started within myself going, what do I like doing? What do I really not like doing? Simple things like, I don't like going into a store without an intention to buy something that I need, because I just know that I will browse and I might buy something that I don't need, and it doesn't actually make me feel very good. So I don't want to do that again. I need to have an agenda when I'm buying something, or I don't want to just go and freely browse and have a coffee, and like that doesn't really interest me. All these things that I had done so much in my life, I was like, why am I doing? I don't want to do this. I get to choose. I get to choose that I don't want to do that. And all I'd been taught was, well, sometimes life is about sacrifice. Sometimes you've got to compromise, and you'd hear those things from your parents or other people. And so you're constantly like, fine, I'll go do that. Or that's a nice thing. I should do that for that person. But every time I'm like, this burns me out. I don't like doing this. Why am I doing it? And so the more I chose me, which is what you've found as well, the more you choose you, you've got so much more energy. You've got more vitality. You're more excited to engage with people because there's things that you want to talk about that are of interest, that you've been learning, that you've been discovering about yourself, and life just becomes richer. Hey,
like, I guess I've had a few significant changes over the last, well, obviously over the whole 12 months, but more importantly, like the last couple of weeks, I've done some significant changes, like leaving a relationship, moving out on my own, getting my own place. I honestly, like, living on my own and doing something for myself has brought this spark back into my life that I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, it's me. Like, like I feel happy. I'm like a bit giddy, like I'm just constantly
dating yourself.
Yeah, literally. If I want to eat the pack of the chips, I'll eat the pack of the chips. If I want to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. If I want to binge on the couch and watch like series all day, my series, I'll watch it. Like,
totally. So your life is your idea, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely.
No one else's idea now but yours.
Yes.
And so the number one thing that you're going to be focused on going forward is when that voice inside your head goes, you should do this, or you've had a bag of chips, you should go for a run, or it's kind of like, wait a second, that's not me, that's my conditioning, that's the shit that I've been led to believe. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do.
Yeah. And I guess too, like the biggest thing I've learned as well whilst working with you is to value my intuition and value like how I feel. So whether that's just about my job, about my friends, about relationships, back dating, actually acknowledging that my gut intuition is pretty strong and on point, understanding or reflecting and appreciating those feelings at the beginning, doing something about it instead of letting them just fade away and build up inside you, I guess.
Totally. And a question I have for you is, what do you think weakens women's intuitions?
Well, I can't talk for everyone else, but for me, this conditioning of being someone that they expect me to be, the feeling of having to be this perfect person or the caregiver or the lover or whatever that particular role you have to play.
Roles.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
100%. That's what overpowers or has overpowered all my intuitions.
So good. What do you think the biggest shift has been in how you feel?
Prior, like I said, I was a shell of myself. I didn't know how to laugh anymore. I really struggled to understand what truly made me happy or what I valued, what I needed, I guess. I lost my personality and my identity. Like, I know I'm quite a cheeky, playful person. That was gone. And yeah, I was just morphing into someone that I didn't like. Yeah, oh my God, now I can start crying.
That's good. Yeah, this is great.
Reflecting on that is just like, it's hard because like there was times where I would sit on the couch and just be like, have like an out of body moment and just be like looking at myself being like, Olivia, like you're just so unhappy. Like,
yeah,
so
beautiful.
unhappy.
And having so much compassion for that version of yourself.
Yeah, there's multiple things that were going on that I would reflect and be like, oh, but I can't leave him because I'll upset him or I'll upset his family or I'll upset my family, like he's a good person. All these things would go through my brain that I'd just be like, okay, well, maybe if we buy a house, like that will help. Or maybe if I just continue to let my friends talk to me the way they talk to me, or let my brother talk to the way he talks to me, or all these different things. If I just kept accepting it, eventually it would go. But instead, it just continued to pile on me. Yeah, that's where I reflect on feeling like I was just constantly sinking. And every time I thought there was a gap, I would like try and like rise to the top, but it just never worked. But I guess now, after 12 weeks with you, I can honestly say like I sleep better, I'm happy, I like dance around my living room and feel like great. I just genuinely am happy.
You're making me cry now. I'm like, oh. So good.
Like I'm actually quite positive about things. Like even though COVID sucks right now and like living alone's hard, I would have just used to like let it consume me. Whereas now I'm very much like, well, I have the beach and I have my dog and I have my friends and I have my family. Most importantly, I have myself. So now I can actually reflect on myself and I know what I need to make me happy, whether that's a dip in the ocean or grounding myself on the sand
or that double rainbow today.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess not 100% in love with myself. Like I still have a lot of work to do with developing my self-worth, but it's definitely growing, and the more work I do on myself, the more I truly love who I'm becoming.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. My last main question for you is, why me?
Why you? Like I said, I'm writing you a letter, so there's a lot of there's a lot of things of why you. Well, I actually obviously found you through another client of yours. Watching you talk to her, and then I went onto your page and I went through your page, and I reckon I went through your page for like weeks. I just felt an energy that drew me to you because you create this space or this environment that allows people to feel comfortable, and like you're brutally honest, but still have like empathy. You say it how it is, or you say it how like what you think is the right thing to do, or like you tell me to do something and you pull me up if I haven't done it. Like you'll be like, you haven't meditated, or you haven't journaled, or did you read that book, or something like that. You will know straight away, but you create that environment that still has empathy and compassion, and you never push me, or I assume all your clients, to say anything that isn't true to them. Like you don't put words into my mouth. You'll throw out ideas and I'll be like, yes, that's actually how I feel. You allowed me to reflect on past times and my childhood and relive those memories, but didn't cause me to feel anxiety or like relive that trauma of what it was. Yep. You just allowed me to reflect on my past and at that point in time where I was in my life, and explore all different options that could happen. And most importantly, you believed and trusted that I would make the right decision for myself.
Absolutely.
You provided an environment where you gave me all the tools to go off and do what I needed to do, but you never pushed me to do it, because it was like, well, you're here to work on yourself. You've made that investment. If you don't want to do it, like at the end of the day, it's up to you. And I think that mentality was a key driver to me, because I was like, hey, she's like, if someone was to push me and be at me and at me and at me, I would be almost like a bit like resentful and be like, go away from me. Whereas you check in and be like, hey, how you going? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Or I'd be mute for a couple of days and you'd be like, what's wrong?
Yeah, totally.
But most importantly, like you created a space that was safe and comfortable for me to be vulnerable and tell you exactly how I felt and be raw, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm not raw with a lot of people. So yeah, you just have grateful. This angelic energy that allows people to feel warm and safe. I think safe is probably the best word to describe it.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. You mentioned a little bit about like investing in yourself and, paying money and actually doing something that you've forked out for. Mm-hmm. How do you think that's different from doing something that's free versus something that you're like, okay, I've put a significant amount of money down. I've put a significant amount of commitment down for myself. Like, I'm going to go do this thing. Do you think that makes a drastic difference?
Yeah, 100%. There's that feeling of maybe accountability. Yeah. If it was free, I'd be like, oh, well, like I didn't have to pay for it anyway. Like it's sort of that.
There's no skin in the game.
Yeah. I was at the point where I was like, I want to invest in myself. and I'm
Yep.
willing to pay the money to get the results that I required. At the end of the day, you can give me all the attention and tools that you have and that you did provide me. But if I didn't do the work on the outside, I definitely wouldn't be here today, like
Totally.
the way I am.
Yeah. And so that's what I just want to highlight for maybe anyone watching is you can read all the books and you can find a meditation teacher on Insight Timer, and you can do that every day, and you can do all of these things. But if you don't pay for someone to help you, and if you don't invest in coaching and invest in therapy and like fork out money that you might think, well, Brooke, I don't actually have that money. Well, that's a whole nother mindset shift in itself. But what I've noticed for me is the more money I spend on myself, a better coach I am, and also a better daughter and friend and all of the things that I am. So money is a mindset, money is a story we love to create around why we can't do things, how we can't afford things. Yet investing gives us a return on investment, an ROI, doesn't it? And you only know when you take that leap of faith.
Well, if I was to tally up all the money I've spent in the last 3 years on petty, stupid things that I probably don't even use, I look around the house, I'm like, wow, where is that gone? It's probably in the bin now.
Yeah.
That brought me no satisfaction whatsoever. If I think about that, and then the money I've spent on actually investing in myself, becoming a better version of myself, it's literally
can't compare.
No.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you, Olivia. I appreciate this so much. And thanks for you guys that are watching.